good with it, in the hood with it? Welcome back to the Collective Clips, where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in today, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support I'm getting, man. Thanks. It's all because of you. And man, I'm very humbled. We're going up right on this channel, and that's a fact. So this whole week I've been telling grimy stories, right? Not feel-good stories whatsoever, but stories about the tragic experiences that I've had or others have had at the hands of prison, jail, being incarcerated. Nobody wants to go there. You know, I've seen motherfuckers run, jump out windows, jump off second-story buildings, do anything they could to avoid incarceration. And at the end of the day, you know, damn, just do your 3 months, homie. It ain't that bad, right? But motherfuckers will go all out the box to get away. Well, this story's about an individual, a homeboy of mine, a very close homeboy of mine, still to this day, who was just a little bit different. And I think his non-understanding of the politics in jail and in prison, and him being just from a different country, kind of played into the situation. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. So I have a homeboy. He's a norteño. Well, he isn't anymore, right? After they poked so many holes in him, but he was also a Paisa. Okay, for those of you that don't know what a Paisa is, it's a Mexican national, someone who comes from Mexico, was born from Mexico, and has migrated or, you know, came to the United States to work or for whatever reasons. And somewhere along the line, man, sometimes they get caught up, certain situation. Now, most Paisas will go to the feds. That's the federal prison system, because most of them are getting caught for drug cases or gun cases, things of that nature. You know, one thing about a Paisa, Mexicans, period, are the hardest working people I've ever been around. And I've worked the fields. I've done it all, man. I've been around Mexicanos my whole life, all the way from the backyard to the front yard, right? So I know exactly what it is. So you're not going to have very many of them in state prison. More of them will go to the feds, and the Paisa car, they have their own ranflas, their own cars in the federal prison system. But in the States, they also have a car, man, which is the Paisas. And there's usually 10 to 15 of them on each yard, and they kind of mind their own business. They function right down the same yard as the southsiders, and they're willing to go the distance if they have to. No one really fucks with them though, man. They're hustlers. They stay hardworking in there, and they're just doing what they're doing, right? So my homeboy was a Paisa, meaning that his English was very minimal. He came and was born in Mexico, but he moved to Merced, California, so he was a functioning norteño, man. He got jumped in the hood and just hung around with the homeboys, and eventually that's just the way it worked out for him. So running around, man, you know, I remember this homeboy since I was little. We were real close, but there was a time period where we got much closer. We started hanging around, doing dirt together, and that always brings homies together. When you're out there doing dirt, making sacrifices, going through fucking some hardships, some struggle, you know, you guys become, there's a different type of bond than rather just friends that grew up together. You become closer because now you got dirt, he done dirt, we did dirt, right? So, you know, you just build that bond. So he was one of those type of individuals. He always had his shit going on, was well put together. His mannerisms were straight. You know, his English was, like I said, different. You know, he struggled in them ways, but I think being around the homies, the Chicanos, the Norteños, we taught him a lot, right? And he taught us a lot about Mexico and about, you know, the traditions in the motherland, right? So that's just what it was. It was a give and take relationship as far as friendships. He was a good ass homeboy, solid as rocks. Everything he ever did, all the work that he put in, you know, was astounding. It was crazy, right? He just put in some serious work. He actually had a nickname. I ain't even going to put his name out there like that, but he had a nickname for a vicious movida he did. He just kept that nickname. It stuck, right? He was with the business. Anyways, he went to the youth authority. I remember when I was in the youth authority and Carl Holton, right before I paroled, he was in DeWitt Nelson doing his thing. So he was very well known, but he had never went to the prison system. He had never picked up a case. How he was able to wiggle from YA back to the streets always surprised me, because I knew he was a Mexican national and he had no documentation. I don't know if he had some paperwork or they weren't tripping because he was a minor. The youth authority was a lot different. You know, they just let you fucking out, like go out and kill somebody and come back. That's just how that was. Prison's slightly different. Once you get caught up in the system and you're arrested and you don't have papers as a Paisa, they're going to do something to you, right? You're either going to have to sit there and do your time and then be transported back to Mexico, or they're done with you, they clean the hands of you, and you're going to be fucking extradited to Mexico. There's a lot of righteous norteños and southsiders that were born in Mexico but are from barrios in the United States that are now working at call centers in TJ, in Tijuana. That seems to be the most popular job for them out there, is the call center, because a lot of them could speak English as well as Spanish. They learned over the years being in the United States. So anyways, the homie was solid. So he goes to the county jail. He gets caught up on a gun case. He goes to the county jail, man. Now, in our county jail, they separate you not only by race, but they also separate you by gangs, right? So you had the Norteño block, which was the active Norteño block. Of course, you know, they started to get non-active Norteños or non-active southsiders, dropouts basically, and they would ship them out to the ranch, which is called Sandy Mush, and they'd be in the bubble. Now it's all different. Now they're everywhere because they're the majority. But at the same time, you know, back in the days, it wasn't like that. So you had the Norteño block, which was 3 block, and then 2 block, which was general population, okay? Meaning blacks, whites, others, natives, whoever else, some Paisas. That's where the Paisas were located. Then, of course, 1 block was for the Southerners, and that's just pretty much how it went, right? So they kept everybody segregated. Now, a rule in the Norteño gang is once you go somewhere, no matter where you go, homie, you got 2 options. If it's all bad for you and you're not supposed to be there, get off where you're mad at. Take flight immediately. You have 72 hours to take flight and get the fuck on. Straight up, if you want your resume to stay intact. If not, stay there and you're going to be called a whole bunch of poop butts when you get out. It's just the way it is. Even though it might be a cool yard, good programming, a easy way to get in and get out, it doesn't matter. If you're told you can't be there, you cannot be there, right? Or at least you could be there and do your thing as a man. But just remember, when you get out, they're going to be looking at you like you're a woman. And they're going to be calling you all types of bitches and garbage and all that. It's just the way the game works, right? What could be your homeboy today could be your worst enemy tomorrow. That's knowledge you can't get in college. You heard it here first. So, the homeboy gets locked up. And because he's a Mexican national, a Paisa, he's going to have to go do some prison time. Of course, if he gets convicted of this gun charge. And then at the same time, they're going to want to extradite him back to TJ. You know, and that's where they usually drop you off. They'll drop you off right at the border and say, la vie, vámonos. You're gone, right? There was a point in time, and I don't know, man, I've never been extradited because I'm from right here, where they would take you deeper into Mexico. Now, a lot of these guys don't have familia. They don't have friends. They don't know anybody. They don't leave them with no money in their pocket. They just imagine just getting dropped off deep into a fucking jungle where there's jaguars and indigenous people, and the only thing you know is a little bit of Nahua. You're on your own, right? For those of you that don't know what Nahua is, it's an ancient Aztec dialect, right? That a lot of Norteños as well as Southsiders learned while incarcerated to better facilitate messages. There you go. But it's also, if you're just a Chicano and someone that wants to look into your heritage and look into the motherland of Mexico, then you would study, you know, the indigenous peoples that we are derived from as having that blood running through our veins. You know, the Aztecs, the Mayas, the Incas, and all that. Whether it be Central America, from Southern America, Central America, all the way to Mexico. Now, so the homeboy already knows what he's in store for. He's going to fucking fight his case, and then he's going to get his ass dropped off somewhere in a jungle, right? But it's cool. He's with the programs, whatever. He knows a lot of gente, and he knows how to contact the homies like myself and several others, and we'll take care of him, homie. If you want us to get a coyote and fucking bring you back, whatever you want to do, homie. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to ride a dirt bike in there, I'll ride a fucking a YZ or a KX, and I'll go pick you up, throw you in my backpack, we'll fold you up, and let's bring you back, homie. Whatever we have to do, he has friends that will take care of him. Of course, right now to this day, he's in Mexico, like I said, doing the call center thing and just living his best life. You know, he got him a little apartment. He came from nothing, man, literally, from the dirt to making it hurt, and it works, right, for him. But here's his story and how tragic it gets when you're a gang member. So when he gets to the county, because he's considered a Paisa or Mexican national, even though he's a Norteño in good standing, he is not able to let the officers know. You know, when the officers hit you up, hey, do you gangbang? What are you? If you tell them that is considered dry snitching or that is considered giving up the game, and they could, you know, use that as a validation point to validate you as an active gang member. So you're kind of stuck. They look at your tattoos and they kind of figure, and I remember the homeboy had a couple tattoos, indicators of the hood, but because he didn't speak English as fluently, he didn't want to tell him nothing, and he couldn't really. So they automatically placed him on 2 block, okay, where the Paisas were, and the general population inmates, right? Now, again, everybody in that county jail is active, and general population, they're just segregated, right, according to your gang. So he goes to the 2 block. And he knows that the homies are on 3 block. That's where he wants to go. That's where he's trying to get to. So he's like looking around like, ¿Qué pasa? What's going on here, right? And of course the Paisas are like, what's up, bro? They put him in a cell. There are 8-man cells. So he goes in there and he's like, no, I ain't one of you. I mean, I'm one of you, but to a different degree of one of you, right? So I'm a Norteño. So in this case, What he should have been doing and what he's obligated to do is plant a flag. Start establishing there so that way if they do send any homeboys, because there are black norteños, white norteños, indigenous, native norteños, others, that happen to be norteños but get slid over there as well. What he was supposed to do was, open up shop. Establish, even if you're by yourself, homes, that's the strive and the struggle of being a northerner, right? You have to do what you have to do. But see, he was unaware of this. He had never been incarcerated, in county jail or in prison. So he didn't know the get down like that. He was in the youth authority where there was always homies and a little bit of everybody. So anyways, coming from the streets to that, he was kind of shell shocked, like, what do I do? And there was no one to reach out to. So of course he knew the homeboys were on 3 block. So he wrote a kite, wrote a wheelock, passed it through someone to pass it to someone to however it got there, right? And he said, hey bro, I want to get moved to the block with the homies. Get me over there. So they shot him a wheelock back saying, no bro, that's not the way it works. Why are you even asking that? You already know. You should just establish there. Again, he didn't know, but he's being told this. Establish there, homies. You're good. Don't trip. No one's going to trip off you. If they slide a southsider over there, you already know. Get off where you're mad at. But other than that, bro, what I'm saying? Try to facilitate some type of fucking bullshit with the Paisas. They always got a whole lot of good shit, right? Try to work it out. And that's what it is, man. It's all about not flying undercover and all that, but just establishing. He never got that wheelock. Okay, he never received that wheelock. So, of course, he paced back and forth in that cell with his 7 other cellies, wondering what he was going to do. And some of the Paisas told him, hey, bro, if you want to get moved, all you got to do is tell the cop you want to get moved. But again, he knew enough to know that if he told on himself by self-admitting, that was not a good move, right? That's considered PCing up from the spot where you're at. So he tried to figure out another way. So he said, okay, well, maybe if I get down with somebody, I get off on some black dude or a white dude out in the yard, maybe they'll move me where other Mexicans are, meaning norteños or Southside. He was taking a big risk, right? But he said, fuck it. So he goes out to the yard. He's going to get off on some cat. And the cat's like, no, no, no. So the homie was like, fuck, man. He loses his opportunity, right? They snatch him up off the yard, put him in a single cell for a little while up in the front. And he can't really get at anyone. So then when they bring him back, and this story was told to me by him directly. This is facts, right? Because I heard the same shit from other people. So when he goes back to the, 2 block, he's wondering, what am I going to do, right? So the Paisas are telling him, just tell him, bro, you got to go over there. Don't tell him you're a norteño. Just say you want to go to 3 block. That's it. They'll move you. There's a cool cop that works in the evening times. We'll call him down here. You get at him and whatever. Say you got a brother or family there. So he said, good idea, right? So the cop comes, and of course, again, he should have stood there, but that wheelock never reached him. So he tells the cop, he's like, hey, my brother was just moved over there, or I hear he's over there. We have different last names. And he gives one of the homeboys' names. That's my brother. Is there any way I can be moved with them? I'm going to prison, then I'm going to be extradited to Mexico. I ain't going to get to see my brother ever again. Is there any chance that we could fucking do it? So the cop said, let me get back at you tomorrow. We'll make something happen. Now, here's one thing about being incarcerated. There's some COs that say, fuck you. You ain't got nothing coming. And there's some COs that are cool. They're righteous. They're just trying to do their job, man. And if they can help you out a little bit, they have a heart. They'll help you out. So not all COs are bad. Like people throw out there, oh, the cop this, the cop that. Just like in society, not all officers are bad. Some of them are just doing their job. And hey, if someone breaks into your car tomorrow, yeah, you can call on Tyrone or you can call on the cop, Cabron. It's up to you. So anyways, the next day, the cop tells him, roll it up. You're going to the block. You're going to 3 block, right? Now, the cop's telling him, you know who's over there, right? He's like, yeah, my brother, it's all good. Don't trip, right? So he gets to the block. He gets moved on there, and the homeboys are kind of like, all right, cool, right off the top, because they don't know. They're like, hey, it's the homeboy, whoop-de-whoop. And everyone knows him, right? He's well known. So when he gets in there, the homeboys, of course, he has to go through a clearance process. Just what it is. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are. You could be John Gotti, whoever you are, right? Howard Stern. You could be Danny Masterson. You could be popular as fuck. It doesn't matter. No one is above nobody. We're all the same. So at that point in time, I'm still gangbanging, right? At that point I was, right? Everybody was considered the same. So you get in there, and if someone has status, of course, they're not going to let you know nothing. You're just told to sit on your fucking bunk, give me your fucking property, and shut up until we tell you otherwise, right? And that's what it is. That's just the struggle. So he goes through the clearance process, and in one of the questions, the homeboys ask him, hey, I thought you were on 2 block, bro. What happened? Did they just move you? Was it by coincidence or chance? Did they see your tattoos or what happened? He's like, nah, fuck that, bro. I told him if I can get over here, I told him I had a brother. So he runs him down the situation. Pop goes the weasel. He fucked up, right? And this is how sometimes petty it can get. You know, instead of the homeboy, and the homeboy who had the block at that time was a vicious character, someone looking at 40 years that didn't play, even though they were from the same neighborhood. That makes it even worse because it's like, hey, bro, you're making us look bad, bro. We're supposed to be different, eh? And like I said, we're all from that same neighborhood, which holds a lot of respect in the block, right? So anyways, the homie gets at him, you know, pulls him to the side, writes a wheel and says, hey, bro, fucking, you know, because he's down the tier from him. Hey, bro, that wasn't cool. Why didn't you just stay there? You're supposed to stay there. And he's like, I didn't get no wheel on, homie. I didn't, you know, I just want to be over here with the homies. I don't want to be over there with Paisas and shit. Not that they're bad. He just wanted to be with his people, who we consider, you know, once you become a Norteño, here's another thing. You know, you cease to be Paisa or black or white or Chicano. You cease to be a fucking ethnicity. You're now, first and foremost, before your family, before your sangre, before everything, is supposed to be the Norteño cause, right? And he knows this because he's been through Y and all that. So he's like, this is what it is, homie, with me. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to show you what it really is with us. So they already start putting the plan in motion, man. He basically dry snitched and told the cop, and he moved, and that's a PC move. So, of course, there's some homeboys speaking up for him, like, hey, the homie don't know, bro. He's a Paisa. Let him, you know what I mean? Shit, that's a good homie right there. But the Vato's like, hey, homie, we got to lay a fucking a demo down. You know, we got to set a precedent. We got to let motherfuckers know, bro, that when we say something, whether they receive the wheel or not, they better use fucking fucking kinesis powers or whatever. They better fucking read minds, homie. You know, it's just on. So they got at the homeboys that were in his cell. There were 7 of them. You know, that's an 8-man cell. And they told him, you guys already know what you got to do. And the plan went in motion. And one thing about the county jail compared to prison, whereas in prison, most of the time you're going to get hit either, you know, your cell, chow hall, on the yard, or in the day room, right? They're not going to do it at visiting. They'll wait till after visiting. They're not going to do it in front of civilians. They're going to try to catch you in the cuts, right? But they're going to fucking do you dirty. It's just the way it is. So there in the county jail, there's 2 spots to be removed in either the yard, which if they do that, that's going to shut the yard down. That's going to impact the program that's going on. Or the cell, which of course will shut the yard down, but because it didn't happen on the yard, there's less evidence. There's no cameras in the cell, right? Now there is the cops will walk every great once in a while, but for the most part, they only come down during count times or to fucking take someone to court or medical. So the Vato fucking is on his own, right? Really on his own. And so he's chilling and he's thinking it's all good. They told him, hey, you're cleared, everything. So he's chilling with the homies. He's working out. They made sure he was working out, right? Get that blood pumping. And pieces were slid, man, and they got to go into work, right? They went to work on the homie. He got butchered up, man. He got hit over 30 times and didn't even know why. Found out later, right? So he ends up getting booked. Fucking they yell keys. Cops come, snatch his body up, snatch a couple people up for it, take them to the front, which is the hole, so they can move him, you know, to Sandy Mush to be housed over there. And they take the homie to the hospital. He was in the hospital for like 2 months recovering. He barely lived. He hung on for dear life. And I remember hearing about it. I was on the streets like, damn, they booked the homeboy, right? Like, what? What'd he do, right? I was like, damn. And the way I was thinking back then, and this is the cool part about it. This is what we've had conversations. This is my boy. We talk about it now. But he said, how'd you feel? I said, I felt disappointed. I was like, fuck that dude. I never liked him anyways. Hey, and I did. That was the homie. But that's how you feel, right? And I've had people do that with me that were active and I was not active. They're like, fuck that piece of shit. And then later on, they fall off or something. And they're like, hey, fool, you want to come to my house and eat tacos, right? It's just the way it works out. I already know what time it is. It's happened so many times, it just becomes normal, right? So anyways, I did say that. I told him, yeah, I said that, bro. He's like, damn, we're going to have to catch a fate for that. I said, you don't want that. You don't need that in your life. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you're extradited, but then I ain't never going where you're at. So bang, bang. There you go, right? We'll never see that, but we could just, what do you want to do? You want to fucking go over the phone or what? You know what I mean? Karate? Anyways, he lived and he told me just recently, you know, I talked to him. He calls me every out of the blue moon, you know, and he was like, hey, bro, fucking, that was probably the greatest thing that could have happened to me because I'm living my best life now. Now I'm here where I belong in Mexico and I got me a chick and my little job and a little apartment and I'm doing great. And he goes, bro, you know, I put everything I had into the cause. And I put everything, you know, I was down for the homies. I'd have did anything they wanted. I'd have booked anyone, laid my life down, did life for them, right? And he goes, and they fucking stabbed me because I wanted to go chill with them. And I said, yeah, bro, be like that sometimes, you know? It's just, you know, it's very tricky. That's why I say for people that are going to prison, politics, man, each group is different. Now, I'm just telling you this story, but every group is different. And it's all because this Vato couldn't really speak English and he was a Paisa that this whole mix up occurred anyways. You know, I've had a lot of homeboys that are Mexican nationals or blacks or whites that go through certain hardships, man. It's just fucked up. You know, it's fucked up being a different ethnicity from a primary Chicano gang or Mexicano gang, you know. But that's part of gangbanging, man. You got to understand where you're from, what you do. And that's why I say, man, if I would have went, now if I was in this position, I'd have just stood there. Fuck it, Paisas cook good anyways. They're making bomb burritos. I'm chilling, right? And if anyone, an adversary or an opposition would have slid through, then I'd have got off where I was mad at. Just do it like that. You know, say a Southsider would slid through and they would have got off with each other. Bam, bam, bam. Then if he was moved, the homies would have been like, what happened? Hey, they brought a Southsider, homie. I got off. Oh, that's right, homie. It's something that simple. He would have been embraced, loved, respected. Here's some comida. Let me send you a care package. He would have got all that. But instead, he said, oh, I just said my brother was over here, bro, so I can chill with you guys. Bam, 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 30 times. It's crazy, huh? With that being said, true stories, man. Knowledge you can't get in college. For those that are thinking about being incarcerated or did time, then they understand the situation. But for those of you that haven't, that's how grimy and dirty it gets in certain cars, right? Now, don't think that the Norteño cars or the Norteños are not cool, man. There's a lot that gets, you know, looked at, and you get your due process in certain situations. It all depends on who is there on the block at that time, man. And that's why I say yards vary. Different mentalities, different people think differently. It might all be the same shit, right? But it ain't the same shit up here, man. And one person's difference of opinion matters. It could be the you know, the difference between life or death. It's a crazy situation. Anyways, with that being said, another true story, man. The homie got hit over 30 times. And I remember, man, everybody talking about it. And they were like, oh, he got hit 100. He got hit. I said, how much time did you really get hit? He was like, over 30, bro. He's like, they're trying to leak me, homie. There was blood all over, everywhere. He goes, I was trying to fight back and I was sliding because he said they got me when I was working out. I didn't even know, bro. He said they were going for kill shots too, but he's a bigger dude, so he kept pushing him off. No, por qué? Right? He was in that motherfucker. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming, man. And remember, at the end of the day, only you can strive and struggle to struggle and strive, and only you can make it happen for your family. Think about what's your priority, man. You know, those of you that are still in gangs and doing your thing, I ain't mad at you. You know, you're going to come to an understanding one of these days. And for those of you that ain't, well, congratulations. You made that your next move, your best move, right? With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. Thank you guys so much for all the support I'm getting. I'm going to keep bringing those Danny Masterson updates. There's people like, damn, you guys are making hella money off him. I wish we could. Then you know I would. This is the gun. Bang, bang.